Good morning, Morgan. Today is Monday, March 15th, 2032.
And now it's time to beat the mind game. And now it's time to beat the mind game.
The song that I started this video with is called Mind Games. I chose this track because it's only fitting that I start my review the same way the game starts, with Mind Games. Fittingly, the song plays at the beginning of the game as well. Prey begins by introducing you to protagonist Morgan Yu, who wakes up in a world that seems normal to them, only to have their reality shattered, leaving them with no knowledge and little guidance in the literal alien environment of Talos 1. If you have played Dishonored, one of Arkane's previous games, it would quickly become obvious to you how similar the worlds are aesthetically, as they have visual similarities in their art and the feel of the worlds as well. It speaks of the style that Arkane has made for themselves, and it lives up to it very well. You, however, are not alone on Talos 1. The alien species called Typhon also roams Talos 1 after its fall from Research Station to Hell in orbit, and as you try to complete your objectives, whatever you decide for yourself those will be, you'll be hunted and attacked by Typhon of various types and powers, the most common being the Mimic. Mimics are more of an ambush predator. They will hide as different objects and lay in wait for you to try and pick them up or come near. Then they'll pop out and attack you, which has gotten me pretty good a few times. If you don't manage to instinctively beat the ever-living hell out of them when they scare you, they will run away and try to hide as something else. This provides an emphasis on exploration and knowing what everything is like. You will want to explore Talos 1 to find out what each section of the ship is like, and try to memorize its rooms down to the detail. If you engage a mimic who then darts off into a room, when you follow it into the room, it's good to know what's normal and what is not. If there was 2 coffee cups there before and now there's 3, more than likely one of them is the mimic. Besides the mimics, there are phantoms. Phantoms particularly I find much more interesting because they are the result of a combination of Typhon and human. They mutter different sayings that have been said in the past, and despite their brainless nature, there's subtle hinting that they have developed the beginnings of more complex thought. When they see you and come to investigate to find nothing, they may say, "I swear I saw something around here." Or if they do, they will sometimes exclaim "Morgan," which shows that they can recognize the protagonist and discriminate from other human beings. Phantoms are much more dangerous than mimics. I found this out the hard way when after 10 minutes of studying the movements of 2 of them, rushed forward only to have them seemingly teleport towards me. This was one of the most terrifying moments I've had in the game, and I didn't know they could do that, but now I do. Oh yeah, they shoot lasers too. There are other interesting types of Typhon, such as poltergeists and weavers, but I'd like to leave them for you to discover on your own, as the first time you encounter these enemies, it's, to say the least, quite the experience. Besides the Typhon, Talos 1 is populated by human survivors and corpses, and one of the fantastic way Prey does its world building is associating a name and story to every living person and every dead body. As you explore Talos 1, you will get an idea of what life was like prior to your awakening. There are a few people creating D&D characters, there are people working on a toy crossbow, which proves extremely useful as it allows you to interact with panels from a distance, and children's drawings can be found on or taped to desks. As you search for information to help you progress, you'll listen to their voice logs, read through their emails, and examine their notes. When you find the corpses of these people later on, you'll be saddened to figure out how they met their end. It forms a personal connection to the world and its characters, and makes you feel like you're a part of a world with living and breathing people, not just actors in a play. It also adds a level of weight when facing mind-controlled enemies. Sure, shooting them is easier, faster, and safer, but you feel like you're pointing your weapon at a person and not a drone. Suddenly, pulling the trigger to emit the shotgun blast that would end them isn't so easy. It's why I've made an effort to use the stun gun on mind-controlled enemies. With there being survivors, a large part of your decision is who you will trust. There are multiple people reaching out for your allegiance and saying things about the others. It's a hard decision. Your family may not be trustworthy. Your friends might not be trustworthy. You may not even be able to trust yourself. Who you trust is up to you, and the way things play out will change depending on who you decide to trust. Some of these people will encourage you to inject yourself with special Typhon neuromods being the upgrade system of the game, to give yourself powers that are straight from the Typhon. However, they aren't free. Besides the obvious consumption of neuromods, they also chip away at your humanity, and the turrets that are programmed to engage the Typhon will start engaging you and marking you as a Typhon threat instead of a human if you keep using so many of them. There could be other unforeseen consequences, in fact, there probably is, but I'm not going to tell you them. I mentioned Dishonored earlier, and the similarities to it do not end with the art style. The way in which you control your character and interact with the world almost mirrors Dishonored, as are the choices you are given in order to progress. In Prey, you will be tasked with a situation or objective, and your way forward is carved by your own hands. Say there is a room with valuable supplies on the other side, but unfortunately what stands between you and those supplies is a locked door. Now, you could scavenge the surrounding area for a code on a sticky note, or a keycard in a briefcase or on a bench somewhere. But you notice an opening. There's a ventilation shaft on the other side as well. Now you could go and search for the opening and crawl your way to the supplies through the vents. The methods are up to you. One of the things that Prey doesn't share with Dishonored, however, is the scarcity of its resources. In Dishonored, ammo was easily looted off of enemy corpses or just found around the environment. You also had the ability to purchase it after each mission. Not so with Prey. In Prey, you must conserve your ammunition, as it is a rare find on enemies or around the area, and choose carefully what you wish to take with you. Things can be extremely stressful when planning out ways to confront or sneak past groups of enemies with only 1 or 2 shotgun shells and maybe 1 medkit. A lot of your time spent in Prey will be exploring the area looking for resources. This is where a large amount of the world building comes into play too. As you explore and look for resources, you'll find different things out about the world you're in and its differences from our own. The alternate history is interesting to read through, and I'm not going to discuss it here so you can explore it and figure it out for yourself. There are plenty of resources to find and sights to see. Throwing a podcast up on a second monitor is good to do as you explore every nook and cranny of Talos 1. I myself threw up Ben Shapiro and Tucker Carlson as I explored the crew cabins, for example. Besides the already made and readily available resources, you'll also want to pick up different junk as well. Now, some may say, why would I take junk? That is because you can recycle that junk into crafting resources to make ammo for your weapons, or kits to heal you or repair your suit. Everything breaks down differently into different resources, so what you take with you matters, and you've only got so much space. Carefully manage what you carry and make to operate at optimal performance. Hey, I found a fabricator. I'm going to use it to fabricate some evidence like I'm the Clinton Foundation. Give me a medkit. Place craft.
No.
Free. I like some medkit. Oh, I got an inventory open. What? Okay, we're gonna make more stuff. Let's make some bullets. This is cool. I like this. Speaking of performance, the game runs very well. I have a very high-end PC and I'm playing at 1440p, so your results may vary, but I've heard the game still runs well on low-end systems. Some of the anti-aliasing seemed a bit weird at first, so I much prefer the game with the FXAA setting instead of the MSAA settings. However, this is player choice. But no one can say that Prey is not a good-looking game. To cap everything off, Prey is a fantastic game. If you are a fan of Dishonored, you'll like Prey. The game also feels quite a bit like BioShock, and I would argue if you are a fan of BioShock, you'll like Prey. Even as someone who does not deal well with horror, Prey is still a fantastic experience that is worth playing. The world building is fantastic. Exploring Talos 1 is one of the most enjoyable bits of exploration and wandering I've done in a game. The ways in which the game challenges you and questions you are great food for thought, and all mixed with enjoyable gameplay. Not to mention my physical copy of Prey came on a disc, unlike those stupid little cardboard things Activision sends their games out on now, and it had been too long since I've had one of those. With that being said, my name is Soda, and it's been a little while since I've uploaded. But I hope you guys are still doing alright. I haven't had the urge to make a video since Prey came around. And and a lot of people seem to enjoy this game too, and I am as well. I think Prey is a fantastic game, and I think all of you will love it if you give it the chance and you're in for that sort of thing. Personally, when I called up Best Buy to see if they had the game, I had a $20 Best Buy gift card. That's how I got this. I just wanted to see if they had the local one before I ordered it online. A friend of mine across the table she freaked out at me and she was like, "Oh my God, Prey! That game scared the shit out of me." It was, it was funny. It was funny, and it's great. It's such an enjoyable experience, and I love it to death. Anywho, my name is Soda, and I hope you guys all have a fantastic day. I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I'll see you guys in the next video or whatever I make. Peace.